Me old muckers, how we doing? Right, I'm going to make a start on the 33. As I said to you the other day, I think one of the first things I'm going to do is sort this battery lead out because we're having to clamp it on at the moment. Basically, the end is broke, snapped, so we have to clamp it around the terminal on the battery. So I want to do that. Now, some of you will have seen at the weekend, those of you that follow Cotton Top, you may have seen he did a video of basically recovering an excavator that got stuck and out where he is in the States, has a little 7-ton cat. And basically the guy had gone out into the pond to, well, clear the pond out. He'd got out okay. He'd done it a few times, I think, and then, you know, when you start stirring ponds up, even you can be on somewhere solid, you start stirring things up over here, and stuff can happen underneath, you know, and he went to track back, and that was it, game over. So, he got stuck, and he got stuck good and proper. Now, absolutely hammering down. Absolutely hammering down. I don't know if you can hear the rain. Anyway, yeah, so Tim went and said he'd come and help his neighbour. So Tim took his, he's got a 20-ton John Deere excavator, which is actually a Hitachi. So Tim went and helped his neighbour, got the low loader, took everything over there. He told me he was going over there to do this. Now, if you've seen Cotton Top stuff, you'll know there's a man that's got experience with all sorts of machinery. And, this is bloody awful, this one. You know, he's always, you know, winching stuff up and put with their skidders when they're, you know, they're working on slopes like that. And, you know, they'll get machines stuck at the bottom, they'll just hook a winch on and winch it up, but, you know, he knows what he's doing. But having diggers stuck in a wet pond isn't something he deals with on a regular basis. But with the line of work now that I'm involved in, we do. And we've recovered several machines over the years. However, you only ever get that experience through having the experience yourself. And you'll see on his video that he mentions he'd been speaking to me. And I basically sent him just a quick series on Snapchat or one of them, using a model excavator and just showing what to do and how to do it and the things that can go wrong. And I think he just, you know, it's always good to have somebody else just reaffirm what you're thinking, you know. So I basically told him, you know, the main thing is preparation. The recovery can be as simple as you like, really. It's as simple as you want to make it. It's all about the prep. If you're not prepared to put the preparation in and get things ready, then the recovery is just a ball ache. You know, it really can. You can get yourself into a lot of trouble. You know, you can break a lot of things. You can end up getting stuck yourself. Yeah, we had a quick chat about it, and off he went. And he, you know, he took that job on and executed it spot on, absolutely spot on. And I'm watching the video. You know, it was the first time on the Sunday that I'd seen what actually happened. You know, we'd had a chat about it afterwards, but anyway, we're watching it, and I'm thinking right now, what you want to do is, oh, yep, he's doing that, and you know, the next bit is you need to try and wedge those yep, he's doing. So yeah, absolutely fluid, fantastic. And he did a fantastic job. And those of you that have watched the video will know that, you know, there's a nice ending. You know, Tim was able to repay his friends for the kindness that they'd shown him over the years, and that's what it's all about. You know. But like I said, experience only comes through experience, and I've had my share over the years of that. All right, so story time. Many years ago, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago, if not longer, old mate of mine, he passed away now, Jimmy. Just an amazing guy, really. But anyway, he had some land that he used to farm, and they also used to have a lot of marshland beside a river. And you know, you can't do a lot apart from graze a few cattle because it's fairly wet. But you know, you can graze them successfully if you control your levels and whatever in the ditches and keep pumps running and whatever. So basically, they rented it out, and they still do, to, let's just say, a large organisation that run these sort of habitats and so on and so forth. Now they had their own digger. It was an old JCB, an old 806C. So there's no servo controls on this machine. So literally, you're operating rods and levers. But the tracking weren't on pedals like now. You've got levers, down to pedals, and you can do that, and you can operate at the same time. You had your two levers on your armrests for operating your slew and your boom and whatever. But then the tracking was on two levers down beside your seat. So you had to, same as you would with the ones out at front, but as I said, there was just literally levers, no pedals, and when you want to track forward, you used to push them forward and then click them in, and they would lock in, and you used to have to push them out to stop. I suppose the old machine went, 14 ton, about 14 tons I'd say. But we used to use her on the marsh, and because they only had one guy on this place that could operate a machine. He was an ex sort of farm lad, and he was always busy elsewhere. The previous guy that was running running this establishment there, and in charge of all these marshes, as such, that were renting them, he said, would you come and do it? So I had a fair while down there on this digger, driving. And we used to have a load of mats. Now, for those of you that aren't, up to speed with that sort of work, mats are basically, if you can imagine big doors. If you imagine big doors just laid down on the ground, and you track on these big doors, they're actually big timbers all bolted together. But say if you stand them up, they look like just like a massive timber door. And they spread your weight. Now normally you'd operate with 5 or 6 mats. You'll probably be on 3, you'll probably have one behind you in case you want to go that way, and a couple in front of you. And at the end of them there's a cutout with a piece of bar you can see. On the back of your bucket you always have a little bit of a chain with a hook. Anyway, you just have the hook on, then you dangle it in, just catch them, and you'd lift them up, swing them round to where you're now going to move, lay it down, and then if you just let the chain go slack, the hook used to drop out and you'd go on, and you could then carry on digging. Anyway, we used to have a stack of these mats, and then one season we were there and there was a change of management, and we'd had Ditchin booked in to do, and there was a new manager there, and this is where experience and inexperience sort of comes in. And so I went down there to start this series of ditches, and the digger was there near where the entrance to these marshlands were on this roadway, but there were no mats. So I went to the office and sort of said to this new guy, I'm here to start doing the thing, but there's no mats. Where are the mats? Oh, they're not there. They've gone to another place. I said, well, they shouldn't do, because they should stay with that digger. What do you mean they've gone to, well, they're not there, so you'll have to go on without them. But I remembered that out on the marshes were a couple of old broken mats. One had the end broke off, and one had a piece missing in the middle. But they were all right, so there was 2 mats. Now, I've worked on 2 mats before, and it spreads your weight enough. Trouble comes when you want to move, because you then got to balance on one while you sling the other one round, Anyway, I thought, right, we've got to get the job done, so we go. So I went and found these 2 mats, got out there with the digger, and I was out there probably for a week or more. And there was another week or so probably to do. And there was getting late one afternoon, and I was moving from one marsh to another, through a gateway, ditches, and you got, a crossing. Right, so I sort of went across onto one mat, and as I did, we're having 3, I could have just moved, but anyway, I didn't have 3. as I went across, the back of the track slipped in, and it was soft. Now, any other day, you know, with any of the machines we use these days, you just feel yourself go in, just swing round, you'll put your bucket down on the mat there, you'll just pick yourself up, and with your pedals or your levers, whatever you want to do, just slew your tracks around underneath you, and off you go. Being that it was an old machine, she didn't have the power to do both. You could work your arm and slew, or you could track. You couldn't pick her up and track underneath. She just didn't have the power. The pumps just weren't, you know, man enough for her. So I could track, but she was coming off the mat, or I could lift myself up, but then not track to get myself over. But experience over the years had taught me, well, once that's happened, leave it. You ain't going to go anywhere. You're only going to make it worse. So leave it. So I did. Just stopped to where she was, put the arm down, stopped to where she was. And there was another digger working on another part of the marshes. And it was another firm. Now this guy had a 20-ton Hitachi, which is the same as, you know, a bit older model, but the same as the John Deere that Cotton Top runs. And he was working out, and he's a good friend of mine anyway. And so I wandered across and said, look, this is what's happened. He just sort of smiled and said, yeah, he said, that whole thing won't track. I said, well, that's what we're doing. So I've left it there. I'm now going off for the evening. I said, so in the morning, you want to, yeah, he said, I'll come over. First thing, he said, be there for just after 7. He said, I'll track over. We'll pull you out. He said, how deep are you in? I said, no, I'm not hardly in. I said, I just can't swing myself round it, you know. He said, don't worry about it. We'll sort it out. Anyway, next morning, 7:20, 7:30, no sign of him. So I thought, what the hell is he doing? So I wandered across to him. And I said, I thought you were coming over this morning. He said, no, I've been told not to. I said, by who? He said, well, the new manager. I said, oh, why is that? Well, he said, by the time I've finished, I've got another week, 10 days working here. He said, he doesn't want me to stop. He said, he wants me to stop. I said, well, it's going to take, what, an hour at the most? He said, I know. He said, but that's what he said. We're to leave it.